The moment you feel that you know everything, the development stops. Assalamu alaikum. So it is a great pleasure to be in grammar school here today. I think this is my 4th presentation in grammar school, in the other branches as well. And during my presentation, I'll show you grammar school has a lot of contribution in our charity project that we have done. So can we have the slides? Okay. Okay, so this is an amazing story that I want to share with you, a story of my life basically. How I came into this profession and how my development took place. If I look back 40 years, it looks like it was driven by divine. So I remember myself as a young student in school. And during that time, I wanted to go into the army, become a commando. And I had a crush for it. I really wanted to go become a commando in the army. My brother was already in the army, and in the school we were given this junior cadet corps training also, and I used to wear all those gears, and we used to go camping, and I really loved to go in the army. My mother, she developed breast cancer. That was the point where my life turned around. You won't believe, I cried every day during my prayers, and I promised to God, Ya Allah, tu meri walida ko shifa de de. I'll become a doctor, I'll become a cancer specialist, and I'll give free treatment. I will never charge anything. It was a big thing asking from Allah, And you can say that sort of I'm, how should I say it, that, asking for something in return for something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ghafurur rahim hai, Allah rahmanur rahim hai, wo har kisi ki sunta hai. Allah ta'ala ne meri walida ko shifa di. And that is when, I decided that I will become a doctor. So I went to, as you know that preliminary we have to do our FSC, so I did my pre-medical FSC from GC Lahore, Government College Lahore. And then during my prayers, I used to pray that, Allah, if I have to go to a medical college, I will only go into King Edward, no other medical college. I don't want to go out of Lahore. That was again asking too much from Allah. And it was practically impossible to get into the best medical institution in Pakistan, King Edward, which carries a legacy behind it. Alhamdulillah, I did my FSC and I got good marks and I got into KE. So the day I entered KE, if any one of you have been there to that institution, there's a plaque there. It says Al-Tapit. And you know what it means? It means built below the sky is built low. The sky is the limit. So, So, as I entered into medical college, I graduated, and then I did my specialization. I became a cancer specialist, and I joined the cancer department. So that was way back, many, many decades ago. And in Mayo Hospital, we had this oncology department, which was a small department consisting of 60 beds. So, where these patients who came here were actually, did we miss any slide? I think there was one more slide before this. Yeah. So, when, I went to this department, so I saw that the problem that I envisaged, which my mother had, was explosive actually. So it was a rising incidence. It was so scary that second most common cause of death was cancer. And 1 in every 5 persons will get cancer. It's very scary, isn't it? If you are 100 people here, you can count how many of, Allah raham kare, Allah sabko shifa de, Allah Ta'ala sabko bimari se dur rakhe. But these are the statistics which shows here. 50 to 60% will die. This is the international figure. Even in the United States of America and UK, most of the patients, 50 to 60% die. But what is the situation here? In the underdeveloped countries, oh my God, 80 to 90% of the patients, they die. Why? Because they present very, very late. And what is the reason? I'll tell you. So, I'm sorry to some disturbing pictures. छोड़ दें आप move करो. You're obstructing me. So these were the patients that we saw. Now the reason for showing you these pictures were very distressing for me as well. As a young doctor, as an oncologist, I could never imagine, गले सड़े जिस्म के साथ कीड़े पड़े हुए जिस्म में ये मरीज़ आते थे हमारे पास. और ये ज़माने कदीम की बात है कि उस वक्त वसाइल भी बहुत कम थे. There were limited resources in the hospital. Free treatment, एक ख्वाब. When, a patient like this comes, we decide to plan out the treatment, and then the medication required, we write it down for them, and we give it to them and say, ये दवाइयाँ ले आएं. Believe me, 9 out of 10 couldn't afford it. And I can never forget that, there was this young man, and he had a small child with him, and he was the primary carer. So I was so surprised. I said, where's your mother? She is with the other 7 kids in the gown, in the pen. And he was the primary carer of the father. So he was handed over this parchi that you eat dawaiyan le aaye, aapko teeke lage. He said, I don't have the resources. I can't buy. So he said, aapko discharge kar dete hain, aap ghar chale jaएं. So, that child, he started crying. He cried and he said, Doctor Sahab, please mere baba ko bacha le. Doctor Sahab, please mere baba ko bacha le. And you know what the doctor who was doing the round, the senior person than me, he said to him, कि हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Professor came for the round and he said, why is he still here? Send him back if he cannot afford the treatment. And you know what the response of the doctor was? And that is the day I decided, that I am going to do something to change the scene around. So the senior doctor told the professor, Sir, ये नहीं जानता, असी इन्हों बड़ी बारी क्या है कि चले जाओ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ इलाज इत्थे नहीं हो सकता. ये कहता है कि मैंने इसराइल आएगा नवान वास्ते. I was shocked कि ऐसी स्टेटमेंट एक इंसान दे सकता है किसी इंसान के मतलब वो बच्चा रो रो के वो. I told that child, जब डांसेस खत्म हो गया, I said, don't worry, we'll try to do something. I went home and I talked to my mother. I said, Mummy, एक बहुत गरीब मरीज. My mother she supported, gave the chemotherapy. This is how it started. Then there were other patients. Then there were other patients, also similar cases. So I said, we must do something. I asked my other siblings, and then I asked my other relatives, and then I asked my friend, and gradually आप एक पौधा लगाते हो ना, तो वो बढ़ना शुरू होता है, वो फल देना शुरू होता है. So I had so much of resources that I started buying medicine in bulk. When the word went around in the ward, in the department, and also amongst the patients, they said, oh, there's this doctor, he gives the medicine. So I didn't have any place to store that medicine. So finally, the department gave me an almirah, and it was named Allah Wali Almari. And would you believe that Allah Wali Almari, I left that institution decades ago, is still there. It's functioning. And it was always full. If I brought a medicine for about 1,000 rupees, people came forward to give for 10,000 more. So that Almirah, then when I was posted in Fatima Jinnah Medical College, I started another Allah Wali Almari there. I went to Allama Iqbal Medical College, I started another Allah Wali Almari there. And that is still there and functioning. And it's always full. So what I'm trying to tell you, कि आप कोई अच्छा काम करें ना, एक गायबी इमदाद अल्लाह ताला ज़रूर आपका साथ देता है। इसमें मेरी कोई बड़ाई नहीं है, जिसने दिए जिसने किया, मैं तो ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहा था और मुझसे काम लिया जा रहा था। जो मैंने डिवाइन डेस्टिनी की बात की ना, वो यही है। उस वक्त तक भी मुझे समझ में नहीं आई कि मैं इस काम में क्यों पड़ा और इस शोबे में आने का तो मकसद मुझे पता था, लेकिन कि इस स्पेशल फील्ड में पैलेटिव मेडिसिन में मैं क्यों आया। तो एनीवे वहाँ से ये होता है कि जी एक यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका की एक डॉक्टर हैं, प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर पामिला सटन। शी कम्स फॉर अ विजिट टू पाकिस्तान, शी मीट्स द मिनिस्टर्स एंड द टॉप लेवल गवर्नमेंट, and then she comes to Neo Hospital because King Edward was the #1 institution, so she comes to the hospital in the oncology department, and that is how I came to know her. So when she saw all the patients, and she said, "Oh my God, what are you all doing for them?" I said, "We are giving them chemotherapy, we are giving them radiation treatment." "No, they need palliative care." I said, "What is palliative care?" It was unheard of in Pakistan. She said, "I am the representative of the World Health Organization for the implementation of the program of palliative care. And I have been to the federal Islamabad, to the ministers and all the other people who matter, and they also even don't know." So I said, "We also don't know what is palliative care. We know that the patient has come here expecting a treatment." She said, "But even if